Hello and welcome to Accessible Computer Podcast. Adrian Thomason here, and today, because it's a holiday, I was thinking to offer you a generous list of resources for accessible books. I mean accessible for blind and visually impaired people, for those depending on screen readers. I read a lot. I'm a voracious reader. I prefer PDF and EPUB style, the electronic format. I read time to time audiobooks, or if you wish, I listen audiobooks. And those are my main formats. But some others probably prefer to read Braille, for example. So let's talk a little bit about versions of accessible books. And then we'll talk about devices which we can use in order to listen or read books. And then in the last instance, I'll point you out to some websites and places where you can find books. In terms of format, visually impaired people prefer to probably the first option for the most is audiobooks. Audiobooks, they are simply to listen, they are simply to manipulate if you wish. The good part of an audiobook is the human voice, which is involved in reading the book, which is good. That's the good part. The not so good part of the audiobook version is sometimes depends by the application what is used or the device what you usually use for consuming audiobooks. What I said, so the not that good part is not always going exactly where you left the book is easy to do. Sometimes you have to finish a track, an audio track, or to leave, if you wish, talking in old style recordings like cassettes. You have to finish a side until you can stop reading. Well, this is the audio format. Again, audio formats are MP3 files in terms of the audio file format. Are some others available as well. Some of them are DRM, so copyrights are protected with all sorts of DRM software. So in that case, the format and the recording is protected to be delivered and consumed just in certain conditions or throughout certain devices. In terms of PDF or EPUB or electronics books, here we can talk a lot. We can have scanned books or scanned materials, which we can produce probably ourselves at home if we print a physical book. So that will result in a PDF or the OCX file, which is accessible if the relevant software is used for OCR and such. We talk about EPUB or PDFs books, which again may or not have DRM bits to sort out or to deal with. And Kindle books as well. Kindle books are the Amazon books, which are the electronic format. Kindle books could be consumed on Kindle tablets, on mobile phones, or even on PCs. Kindle books, if we talked about Kindle, the audio version of the Amazon books is obviously Audible, which again can be consumed on Kindle tablets, PCs, phones. And why not to mention another relatively new kind of device, smart speakers. So if you wish, you can ask your smart speaker, I'll not say the name just to not wake it up, to play a specific book. So this is where the audio and electronic books. As well, we talk about Braille books, and here probably the offer is not that big like in the audio format or PDF format, but Braille books are produced by various charities involved in helping blind and partially sighted people. In UK, we talk about RNIB. We talk about some other smaller charities which are dealing with all sorts of specific books. We have another big service which is across the United States, Canada and UK as well as Bookshare, which also does handle all sorts of formats of accessible books. Plenty of titles for education, for schools as well. So those are the entities involved in working with Braille books. Braille books, when we talk about Braille books, we talk about physical books, which are printed on paper, and we talk about the digital Braille books. What that means, if you are blind and you use a Braille display in order to read the information from the computer, you can also use the note taker, the Braille display as a note taker. In that note taker, you can put a file which is transformed from a regular TXT format in a format which is compatible with the BRF kind of file. On the Braille side, we talk about those things, those devices. Here, the offer again, it's way smaller. Probably this format is not popular because not so popular like the others, just because I think the percentage of the blind community is lower when it's about reading in Braille. And so another format which probably is even less used or appreciated by blind and visually impaired people is DAISY format, which is a kind of combination between an audiobook and a textbook, which is altogether synchronized. If you wish to talk in a very plain words, what is a DAISY book? And DAISY book is very accessible and was made in the idea of giving the chance to the user to navigate through a audio/text book in the same increments, in the same sections. So in a DAISY book, you can navigate section by section, paragraph by paragraph, and such. So DAISY, even if is a very good and useful format, apparently for some reason was not that much explored by the community in terms of the benefits what a DAISY book is able to offer. If you are a screen reader user and in case of using JAWS, you've got already a DAISY player installed on your PC, and this DAISY player is FS Reader. Probably you ask yourself many times, what is this little extra program what JAWS is coming with? That FS Reader is a DAISY player. Just in case you ever land in a DAISY book, you can try to open it and read it and explore it using that particular program in your PC. I've got here all sorts of devices where I can listen the books. My first choice when it's about reading PDF books obviously is my iPhone, because it's all day long with me and it's small, it's portable, and the app in which I listen to most of my books is Voice Dream Reader. PDF books, any kind of documents which are not DRM protected, I can listen them in Voice Dream Reader. Also, on my iPhone, I've got a Kindle app. I have the Audible app. Kindle and Audible being platforms from Amazon, Kindle for ebooks, Audible for audiobooks. Also, another accessible reader for accessible books is Dolphin Reader. It's an app made by Dolphin Access. It's accessible on iPhone, accessible on Windows as well. This player is an accessible player which allows to access not only audiobooks but also PDF books. Dolphin Easy Reader, it is the proper name. Dolphin Easy Reader is a kind of central stage for various other services offered by various charities and entities when it's about books. And probably now, in terms of resources, we have to talk about services or places where to obtain books from. So if you wish to buy books, probably you'll end up on Amazon buying a Kindle version of your preferred title, or on Audible if you wish to listen on audio. But if you wish to borrow a book, probably the best place to start with is your local library. And here in Bournemouth, we've got a few places where we can go to borrow books, including audiobooks and electronic books. If you are a screen reader user and you use an iPhone or a tablet, an iPad, or even an Android phone, there is an app which is handling the library books, at least here in Bournemouth and Poole. That is called BorrowBox, and a while ago I did a thorough demonstration of this application. So I'll put in the show notes a link to that old episode where you can listen how to use BorrowBox as a screen reader user in order to borrow or return books with Bournemouth, Bournemouth, Poole and Christchurch Library. That BorrowBox app is used by many other libraries. Check out your local library to see if they use the same app, or probably if they're not, they'll use another one, which is very possible to be pretty the same accessible. Also, another older episode in my podcast archive contains a demonstration of Audible in Windows, how to download an audiobook in Windows. I'll put that one on show notes as well, just for the benefit of exploring this topic. And another place where you can find good titles and a very comprehensive list of book titles is obviously RNIB Library. The Talking Library from RNIB does have thousands of titles which are accessible on the web, are accessible on the phone, and also on your smart speaker. If you enable a specific skill from Talking Books, you can listen audiobooks from RNIB straight into your smart speaker. Probably at a future date I'll try to show you how to activate this skill and how to listen in your smart speaker audiobooks from RNIB. Also, RNIB is the largest library when we talk about Braille books. So probably in any cases, RNIB will be on the top of the list when it's about resources for accessible books. LibriVox, Calibre are another couple of libraries where you can find out audiobooks and PDF books. Gutenberg, which is a library full of books which are part of the Universal Patrimonium. So Gutenberg is accessible via web or through the apps on your iPhone or Android. Those are mainly the most of the sources which I will look in the first instance when it's about borrowing books. But for the sake of extending the options of resources for accessible books, let's try to make a little search on Google to see what Google is saying when it's about search for accessible books. Accessible books for blind. I'll search this in Google, and here, so we've got Audible, which I just mentioned, RNIB Talking Books, Living Paintings. Oh, tactile books is a kind of books which I didn't mention. This category of titles probably is more suitable for toddlers and young children. Another source or store where you can find books, it is the Native Books app, which is built in the Apple devices, or the books which are built in the Android Google Play Store. Calibre Audio Library I just mentioned. Clear Vision is another source. At a glance, searching with these terms didn't came up too much on top of the resources which I already mentioned. If you think are not enough in terms of places where to grab your favorite title, I think you can go and research even deeper in terms of sources where to obtain those books. In terms of devices, as I mentioned, We can use portable devices. We can use our computers at home, iPads, iPhones, and are another kind of devices which are quite heavily used by lots of blind people are little Bluetooth speakers which are able to play audio files from an USB or memory card. I think those who are not very keen to go deep in technology probably prefer to use such a device like Sovereign or other kind of similar devices. And of course, but not last, I wish to mention Victor Stream Reader, which is quite popular in blind community. Is a media player able to play not only audiobooks but podcasts as well, and if I'm not wrong, even PDF files with speech. With the hope all this information pointed you in the right direction when it's about how to obtain and consume accessible books for blind. I will just thank you for taking your time to listen to this, and as always, I'm asking for reviews, details, opinions, comments in regards of this topic or any other topic related with blind and visual impaired lifestyle. Any message you can send at office@accessiblecomputer.co.uk, or you can chat with me on Skype using the Skype ID accessible.computer. Thank you. See you next time.